Principal Madam, the Secretary Madam, and our beloved Sylvia sister, the convener, and Dr. Preeti Madam, Organizing Secretary, other faculty members of Jayaraj Annabakyam College, Periyakulam, and participants from different parts of this country. A very, very pleasant, joyful, and a wonderful afternoon, evening to each and every one of you. It gives me immense pleasure to be part of this two-day national webinar. And as it was rightly pointed out by the secretary, it is very, very important to have statistical analysis in our research work. See, each and every step you go ahead in your research is very important, whether it is identification of your research problem or finding out the research gap or framing the research questions and its objectives, fixing on your hypothesis, choosing the correct research design, and deciding upon different methods of data collection, administering your questionnaires or any other kind of data collection instruments for collecting the questionnaires. So each and every step, including the data analysis, is very, very important in your research work. As the principal and secretary madam rightly pointed out, see, when I was doing my graduation long back in 90s, we used to have a simple calculators for doing all these kinds of statistical calculations. And we used to envy at the guys, the students, those who were having scientific calculators. That was a great thing that time. But due to the advent of information and communication technologies and the development of various softwares, we are enjoying handful of softwares for conducting statistical analysis. And you know, SPSS is naturally the king of all the statistical softwares. And whatever kind of statistical tools you want to apply for your research work, you can have it from SPSS. But later on, see, when SPSS has become a kind of a commercial organization, and even it's very costly too. See, many of the researchers, we were not able to get an affordable software, a free software, an open access software. So thanks to open access movement, a lot of free softwares have started penetrating into the market. For example, we have PSPP, we have SOFA, we have JASP, and whatnot. A long list of softwares are available. Basically, a question comes here, what does a statistical software do? Dear friends, you know, statistical software is a software that helps you basically few things. See, one thing is you should be able to enter data, whatever data you collected with the help of questionnaires or schedules or observations, whatever it may be, you should be able to enter the data. Fine. And secondly, if you have your data already in some file format, you should be able to import that data into your statistical package. Secondly, and thirdly, you should be able to run lot of statistical tests. And fourthly, you should be able to get the results in the form of tables and charts. These are the basic functions of any statistical software. The beauty with open access or free software is that you can use it, you can reuse it, you can give to others, you can distribute free to any number of people without any legal restrictions. I would like to share with you a long list of free statistical softwares. You may please see on the screen, many such softwares are there. Notably, we have Gretel, we have JASP, we have OpenEBI, then we have PSPP, we have SolStat, we have SOFA Statistics, we have XLibstat. So the list is endless. Lot of free softwares are available. But today, for our demo purpose, I would like to take one particular software, namely SOFA, Statistics Open for All. This is a software we are going to discuss today. And as I told you, it is an open source software, and it's very, very easy to use this software. And this particular software can be linked with the data, what is available in MySQL, PostSQL, or SQLite, MS Access, or SQL Server. All these things are possible. And see, when it's a free software, let us not imagine it provides everything. See, whatever is done in SPSS, all the statistical analysis, you cannot do in SPSS. SPSS is a very popular software. It's got n number of functions. But when you come to free softwares like SOFA, RPSPP, they give you selected list of statistical tools. They don't provide you all the statistical tools, but they provide you a very, very basic, minimum and main statistical tools that you need for your research work. Fine. And various charts can be generated in SOFA statistics. And we have SOFA for MS Windows operating system, for Ubuntu, for Linux Mint, or Mac OS. So SOFA is available for all these different platforms. And in fact, SOFA is written in Python. So those who are good in Python, even you can write your own programming in SOFA. Fine. And this is a screen of software. The latest version is 1.4.6. It's a home page of the software. You can see left side some items are there and right side few items are there. If you see left side, we have get started, enter, edit data, import data, report tables, charts, statistics. The right side, we have online help, selected projects, preferences, run backup, and exit. Fine. So mostly VBU available in the left side of your screen. These are the right side. Okay. Now let me go to the software and I'll just try to demo. And this is a home page of the software. I think it's clear to you. Fine. And see, as I told you, the main function of any statistical software to enter, import data, to create the tables, whatever tables you need for your research work. Either a sister, any issue? Sister, any issue?
Now and then your voice is scrambling, sir. Okay, now it's clear. Okay, proceed. Okay, sir.
Yes, sister. Yes, sister.
Okay.
As I told you, yeah, statistical software helps you to enter data, what you entered, to import the data, to generate the reports, either plain tables or cross tables, and to create charts, maybe pie chart, maybe a bar chart, a clustered bar chart, whatever charts you want to create. Then you have to run statistical tools, different statistical calculations. Let us see these things one by one. First one is enter, edit data. What I do is that on the left side, on this particular option, enter, edit data, and you'll get a screen here. It says, if you want to open the already existing file, just give a click on this drop menu. You'll get all the existing files. If you want to create a file for entering your data, okay, have a new one. Just click new. You'll get a screen. You can give a name for your file, training. Fine. And here fields are available. See, before you start entering data, you should prepare the list of variables, list of questions. See, just like a worksheet, a plain worksheet for entering data. You should define what are the various questions you have in your research work. See, there is something called a SOFA ID. That is a default variable that you cannot change. And number 2 onwards, you can change. For example, I want to create a variable called the name of the candidate. I type the name. And here, the data type, I choose text. Then you press enter. Next one. So I want to get the age of the participant concerned. I type the age. I come to data type. I click numeric. Then I press enter. Next question. LOS, B, their level of satisfaction. So I go to data type. I click numeric. I click enter. And this way, you can enter as many questions as you have in your research questionnaire. Once this particular table is ready, this time, see, your new table has been added. Click OK. Now your table is there. Now you can see your screen here. Your plain table has come. Now you have the questionnaire with you. by seeing the questionnaire, you can keep on entering that data. For example, I just type Sylvia madam, okay, fine. Age, okay, 44. Level of satisfaction 1, fine. Then second one, maybe Murugan, his age is 45. Level of satisfaction 2. Then comes you have Preeti madam, we have got her age. Then level of satisfaction. So this way, you can keep on entering each and every questionnaire as a part of SPSS table or SOFA table. Is it clear now? So this is how you create a plain worksheet and you start entering data in it. Is it fine? And for example, sometimes you can create a label. For example, level of satisfaction, 1 is equal to satisfied, 2 is equal to very much satisfied. So if you want to give a label like this, for example, male 1, female 2, that kind of value labeling system, if you want to create, keep the cursor above the variable. See, now my cursor is available just above LOS. Give a single right click, a menu appears here. Here you can choose. See, 1 is 2, 3, 4, 5. Automatically, since I say it is LOS, system has automatically gives me 5 values. 1 is strongly disagree, 2 is disagree, 3rd is neutral, 4th is agree, 5th is strongly agree. So the labels are automatically created. If you want to change, you can change. For example, 1 I want to change like not happy. Whatever you want type, you can create labels. Once labels are created, you can say update. Before that, you can decide upon the data what you enter, whether it is a nominal data or ordinal data or numeric data, number data. Fine. This is very, very important. Level of satisfaction is ordinal data. So I have selected ordinal rank only. I say update. Fine. Say okay. Is it clear now? This is how you create a plain worksheet and then you start entering data in a particular work. Fine. This is one thing. And secondly, I would like to show you, see, I have got some data already. I have prepared a worksheet, MS Excel sheet. I entered all the data over there. Now I want to import the data from MS Excel into my SOFA statistics. How to do that? Please go to second option, import data. Click on import data. A menu appears. On the top, you can see here, SOFA accepts these many formats: comma separated value, tab separated value, tabular file, XLS, XLSX, ODS, open document spreadsheet, and Google spreadsheet. So SOFA supports these many file formats. If you are having your data in any one of these formats, and that can be imported successfully into SOFA. Now let us see how to import a table. So it is asking for the source file. I click browse button and I had gone to the folder where I have kept my file. This is a file, Excel file to import. I just click the file. I say open. You can see here the file has come. If you want to change the name, you can change it. If you don't want, you can leave it. Okay. Then you click on import. Click on import. You see now, yeah, a portion of MS worksheet is available. It is asking whether the Excel file has got a header, a single header. This file has a header, gender, mark 1, mark 2. Header is there. So I click has header row. You click it and you can see here successfully imported data. That means the Excel file now is imported into SOFA package. I say okay. I say close. I come out. Now let me go and open the data what I have imported now. How to do that? Please go to enter edit data. In the drop down menu, you select the file what you imported. I think remember we have imported this particular file, Excel file to import. I click the file what I imported. I say open. The file comes here. Okay, it has got gender, marks scored in the first week, marks scored in the second week. So this is the data I have imported from one Excel sheet. So this way you can create a new data or you can import the data what is already available. Fine. So let me close this. Suppose if you want to make any change in any of the files, here there's an option called design. Okay. Where is the design available? You click on enter edit data. Here you choose a table and then click design. Here you can go and change. If you want to change the new variable, if you want to change the data type, if you want to add one more variable, if you want to delete any variable, such kind of changes can be done using this particular option called design. Clear? If you want to delete this particular file, after choosing this file, give a click on delete, the file will be deleted. Fine. I think I am clear to you. Using so far, either you can create a new table, new data, or you can import the data from some other established supported packages. Two things are over. The third one, how to report tables. I got some data. I want to create some reports. How can I create reports? You click on report tables. Fine. You will get this screen. Make report table. The screen appears. First step, you have to select the file for which you want to create tables. For example, in my case, I got some tables. I just clicked the descriptive statistics. A file is selected. Fine. I have chosen one particular file. Now I want to prepare tables. Here 4 options are available: frequencies, cross types, row stats, data list. 4 options are available. And here row options, you can see the box for rows. Here you can see a box for columns. And here is a title for your output. And here in this white space, whatever command you give, the result will be appearing in this particular white space. On the right side, you can see you can export the results and you can clear the results. You can close a window. So these are the basic parts of this particular screen. Now I have selected a file called descriptive statistics. I want to conduct some frequency table. You click on frequency, which is available in the top left side, frequencies. Go to row. There's a button called add. Click on add. See, it has got gender, nativity, week 1, week 2. So 4 variables are available. I want to create a table for gender. So click gender, say okay. You can see the result. So male 8 members, female members, 20 members are available in the data sheet. Fine. If you want to find out the total, the same way, under those, there's an option called config. Click config and select total. Say okay. You can see the total now. So you can get a frequency. You can have a kind of total. Fine. Suppose if you want to have a kind of subdivision of the table. In the mail, I want to find out how many are from rural areas, how many are from urban areas, how many are from semi-urban areas. If you want to have a kind of subdivision in your table, then what you can do is that click on add under, choose nativity, say okay, and you can see the result of the screen now. The screen says out of male, 4 are from urban, 4 are from semi-urban. Out of female, 3 are from urban, 4 from semi-urban, 5 are from rural. So this way, you can keep on splitting your file to the extent you like. So to create such kind of frequencies, you can use frequency option. This is fine. Once this is over, you can clear it. Either clear it. If you want to export the output to an Excel file, here there is an option, current output, export. You can click on export. It is asking whether you want the report to be exported either as a PDF file or as a spreadsheet file. I want to have a spreadsheet file. On spreadsheet file, say export. It says that the spreadsheet has been saved to your desktop. Whatever output has come now it is available in a desktop screen. Okay, if you close the window, I'll just show you later on where the output is available. I can show you. Fine. Let me clear this window. So that's a use of frequencies button. Let me go to cross tips. So what is the purpose of cross tips? When you want to create a table, a cross tabulation, you take 2 variables, you want to create a cross tabulation, you can make use of this particular option. Fine. For example, in the row, I want gender. Okay, I click gender, I say okay. And column, I click add, I choose nativity, I say okay. See now a cross tabulation is created, and gender is given as a row, and nativity is given as a column. Is it fine? If you want the total, once again, go to config, click on total, say okay, we'll get the total. Suppose if you want to calculate the percentages on the column side, go to config, percentage, row percentage, total, say okay. So you can see here We have cross tabulation with the column percentage, with the row percentage, with the total percentage. So using these options, you can create cross tabulations. Fine. So let me clear this. And so frequency is clear, cross steps clear. Let me go to row stats. See, row stats is used to calculate all the descriptive statistics. For example, you want to calculate the total of the values, sum, or you want to have a range, mean, median, mode, standard deviations. See, when you want to calculate these kinds of measures of central tendency and measures of dispersion, you have to select row stats. After selecting row stats, come to columns, say add. Here two are there. One is marks scored in the first week, marks scored in second week. I select marks scored in second week. I say okay. You can see here by default mean is being calculated. Okay, here there's an option called config. No, you click config and you can select whether you want mean, standard deviation, median, mode, minimum, maximum, range, sum. See, whatever statistics you want, you can select. For example, I want minimum, I want maximum, I want range, I want standard deviation, I want number. So I have selected all the kinds of statistics I need. I say okay. You can see here the result has come. For the marks scored by these 20 children, mean, standard deviation, number of students, minimum marks, maximum marks, range, all these things are available in the result box. So this way, let me clear the screen. You can calculate the frequencies, you can prepare cross tables, you can calculate descriptive statistics. Fine. If you want to just have a list of all the variables, whatever you type, you can go for data list. Fourth option, data list. You can go to add and click any one variable gender. It shows you all the 20 items. That means first respondent male, second respondent male, third respondent male. If you want, you can have such kind of data list for any variable. I think it's clear. This is how you can create simple tables, cross tables. You can calculate descriptive statistics. And if you want, you can export the result or you can copy and paste it to either Excel or in the MS Word, wherever you want, you can do that. Fine. Apart from that, here you can see there's something called a view report. That means you can choose a file, whatever statistical calculations you do, all the statistical results will be stored in a separate file. See, whatever name you give here in the box, which is left to browse option, you can see everything. For example, if I just click on view report, so you can see here, whatever statistical things I have calculated so far, all the calculations are stored in a separate file. So this way, even you can also create a report for all your statistical calculations. I think I am clear with these concepts. Fine. So we have seen so far, we have seen enter, edit data, we have seen import data, we have seen report tables. Now, let me go to the last but one item called charts. Let me show you how to create charts. Click on charts. You'll get this particular screen. Okay. And this screen, once again, you need to select the topic, a data file for which you want to create charts. So I have selected a table called descriptive statistics. Here, I want to create a chart. Okay. If you are not sure about the variables, see there is a box called open. If you click on open, you can see the entire file. You can understand what are the various variables. I have got gender, I have got nativity. Okay, I have got week 1 marks. I got 4 variables. Fine. Just to see the variables, if you give a click on open, it will show you the entire file. Now I know what are the 4 variables. Now I want to create a pie chart. I want to create a pie chart for gender. Okay, I click the pie chart. Sort by value, increasing, decreasing. I just select by value. If you want to have percentage and count, you can click on this. It will show you count and percentage, and how it goes by gender. Okay, I selected the pie chart. I selected the count and percentage option. I selected the variable for which I want so for statistics to create a pie chart. Once it is over, click on show results. Okay, you can see here, yeah, pie chart is ready. Female 12, 60%, male 8, 40%. So this is automatically created. You can export this to MS Excel file, or you can copy and you can save it in a file. Fine. So this is how you can create a pie chart. Okay. Now let me come to a line chart. This is a line chart. 4th item. I click on line chart. So I want to create a line chart for the marks scored by the students. So I have selected marks. It asks whether you want the chart, the line to be drawn based on count or based on person or based on mean. I say it should be based on count. Okay. And it is asking what is the value. Okay. I say it is a value. It is by. If you want just values, you can click here week 1. Based on the marks scored by students in week 1, I want SOFA statistics to create a line chart. So show results, click on show results. You can see here the marks scored by students in week 1. So line chart is ready. Fine. Same chart, I can do it different way also. See values week 1 by, I say by gender. So I want the same line graph to have 2 different items. The line should have values for both male and female category. So click on show results. You can see here the line chart is different. Okay, you can see here 2 different line charts have come, the same chart. This is male, this is female. So this way you can create line chart based on a particular independent variable also. So you can create pie chart, you can create a line chart, you can create even a simple bar chart also. For example, I want to create a bar chart. I just clicked on this first one, bar chart by count. I want to create a bar chart for maybe for nativity. For nativity, I want to create a bar chart. Okay. If nothing is selected, you can see the result now. Only nativity will be shown here. You can see nativity. Urban, how many are there? Semi-urban, how many are there? And rural, how many are there? Fine. If you want to have a same chart based on your gender, you can click chart by gender. You can just show results. Now you can see here 2 charts have come for male, 1 chart, for female another chart. You can have these kind of charts. If you want to combine these 2 charts in a single chart, you can go for this one, clustered bar chart. Okay, is it fine? I think I'm clear. So this way you can, what is the first step? Select the file. Second step, select the chart type. And third one, whether you want to have a count or percentage to be displayed. And fourthly, select the variables. And fifth, you click show results, you get the results. Fine. This way. And this is how you can generate the required charts using SOFA statistics. So I think this concept is clear. Let me close this one and let me come to the main screen. And we are going to see the last part of the SOFA statistics, which is very, very important, which takes some time. The last one, statistics. I click on statistics. So dear friends, you know, there are basically 2 different kinds of statistics. One is descriptive statistics and another one is inferential statistics. See, whatever we discussed so far, they all belong to descriptive statistics, wherein we just describe what is what. That's it. But as our secretary madam rightly pointed out, when you have a hypothesis for your research work, you want to test your hypothesis. See, normally we state the hypothesis null form, we'll conduct a test, and then we decide whether we are accepting the null hypothesis or we are going to reject the null hypothesis. That is what we are going to do. So all the statistical tests that will be conducted to test your hypothesis, they belong to a tool called inferential statistics. And here, SOFA statistics has given you these many statistical tools needed for testing your hypothesis. ANOVA, chi-square, Pearson correlation, Spearman correlation, Kruskal-Wallis, Mann-Whitney, t-test independent, t-test paired, Wilcox-Sanders. These many tests only are available in SOFA statistics. If you come and ask for something more than this called factor analysis or cluster analysis or multiple regression, I'm sorry, those tools are not available in this particular software. It gives you only these many statistical tools. First of all, make it very, very clear. Fine. As I told you, I have got some data. Let us go one by one. I will give a demo on the use of all these statistical tests in SOFA statistics. Fine, good. Let me start with a simple chi-square. Okay, I'll start the chi-square. So you can simply select whichever statistical tool you want. Give a single click, chi-square selected. and click on configure test, right side, top right side, configure test. Okay. Now the screen has come. Here I have to select file, on which file my test is available. See, just give a click on this drop down menu. Square option is there, high square. Click on I square. Okay. Now I have selected a table which contains data for conducting high square test. Fine. I just click on open to see what kind of data I have. So I've got two items. One is political party and comments. Political party I have given number 1 and 2. Numbers are given. 1 stands for ruling party and 2 stands for opposition party. So 2 political parties. And what are these comments? They have given comments whether this lockdown can be relaxed or not. Somebody says no comments. Somebody says yes, we have to relax. Somebody says no, we should not relax. So I got 3 options. And please remember, political party is assigned roll number 1 and 2, decisional data. It is a nominal data. And the comments, whether they are saying okay, they are not saying okay, or there are no comments. This is also a nominal data. So when your data, when you're having 2 data, both are nominal data, or one data is nominal, another data is ordinal, you have to conduct only high square test and you cannot conduct any other test. Fine. So I have seen 2 comments. What is hypothesis? It's that there is no association between ruling party and opposition party with regard to their comments on relaxation of lockdown rules. So these are null hypothesis. Let me conduct the test now. How to conduct? I have selected the table. Now I have to select the variables. Okay, group A, group B. What is group A? Political party. I have got 2 parties, ruling party, opposition party. What is the group B? Their comments on relaxing the lockdown rules. Now I want to see whether is there any association between party affiliation and their comments. So I just click on show results. Waiting for analysis to be run. Let's wait for the results. So you can see the results here. So it gives you p-value, it gives you Pearson value, it gives you degree of freedom, and it gives a cross tabulation having both observed values and the expected values. Fine. See, what do we need here? We have to look at this p-value to decide whether we are accept null hypothesis or not. What is the p-value? It is less than 0.001. Okay. So what is the common rule which is for being followed all over the world? Either you can have your significant level either at 1% or at 5%. But in social sciences, we have 0.05 as a significant level, and we have to compare this 0.05, the significant level, what we have fixed for our research work, with the p-value what is given in the research output. Fine. See, we have one standard rule. What is the rule? 0.05 is a standard rule, and here p-value is 0.001. So we have to compare these two. If the p-value what we found, if it is lesser than 0.05, if it is lesser than 0.05, then null hypothesis is rejected and alternative hypothesis accepted. So in our case, null hypothesis rejected. That means that there is a significant association between political party and their comments. Why? Because the p-value what is given in the output is less than the standard of 0.05 what we have fixed. Is it clear? And this is how we have to conduct a high square test. Fine. And let me close this window. Let me come back to the statuses window. So high square is over. Now let me conduct a correlation Pearson test. So what is a correlation test? Correlation is a test that will help you to find out whether 2 variables are having linear relationship or not. What is a linear relationship? For example, when one value is increasing, other value is also increasing. When one value is decreasing, the other value is increasing. It's a positive correlation. When one value is increasing, the other value is decreasing. This is a negative correlation. So we have to see, we need 2 data. Both the data should be in numbers, and we can find out whether is there any correlation between the first item and second item. Is it fine? we can study only the linear relationship in correlation. Okay, so you have to go for Pearson correlation. There's one more correlation called Spearman's correlation is there. Both are correlations, no doubt. But when to use Pearson correlation, when to use Spearman's correlation. Okay, Pearson correlation is used when your data is in numbers. You collected numbers, amount of salary, amount of savings, amounts of expenditure. You have numbers. If you have numbers, first condition. Second condition, the data what you have should be normally distributed. If you're having a normally distributed data, if you're having a numeric data, then you can go for Pearson correlation. Okay. If you have collected data in rank, you collected ranks. So you ask one teacher to rank the students, first rank, second rank, third rank. So only ranks are there. If you want to find out the relation between ranks, that means ordinal data, you have to go for Spearman's correlation. Okay, let us see both. I click on correlation, Pearson correlation. I click Pearson correlation. I click configure test. Okay, let me choose the file. What is the first step? I should choose my file. I click on my file, Pearson correlation. File has come. First step, choose a file. Second step, choose the variables. What are the variables? I got two variables. The study time, how many hours a child reads in a week, study time. And secondly, I have marks scored, intelligence score. I got, or I got science marks. Let us take science marks. Okay, I take science marks. See, two variables are there. Study time measured in number of hours. Science marks measured in numbers. So both the variables are in numbers. Okay. Now I can conduct a study to understand whether these two variables are having a linear relationship between them. Okay. So I selected correlation, Pearson's product moment correlation. I click on show results. Fine. You can see the results here. Given here, two-tailed p-value 0.01869, R statistics, degree of freedom, and it shows the figure, how they are related to each other. Fine. So you can see here, the middle, the big line is a mean value, and here study time. So when study time is increasing, you can see my mouse, when study time is increasing, the marks are also increasing. So it means that there is a correlation. Now how can I check what is my hypothesis? My null hypothesis? There is no relation, there is no correlation between study time and science marks of the student. That is my null hypothesis. Okay. What is the value I have to look at? I have to look at this value. Which value? P value. P value size is 0.01. This P value is to be compared to our standard value. What is our standard value? 0.05. 0.05 is the level of significance we have fixed. We have to compare our P value with the 0.05. So what is the answer here? Our P value, the result P value, it is less than 0.05. Since it's less than 0.05, the null hypothesis is rejected. The alternative is accepted. We come to a conclusion that there is a linear correlation between study time and science marks. I think it's clear. Yes. Then the R statistic says that it is 0.721. It means that there is a positive correlation between these two items. If it was negative, we would have had this R statistic in minus. Since it is positive, we can come to a conclusion that there is a positive correlation between study time and science marks. And here you can see the degree of freedom and even linear regression. The constant and the slope and intercept are also given, but let me not get into regression now. Fine. And this is how we can conduct correlation, that is Pearson's correlation. Is it fine? Let me close this window. Let me go to our main table. I select correlation Spearman. I select Spearman. I click configure test. I go to my table, Pearson correlation, Spearman correlation, my table. Here, I select the variables. What are the variables? Teacher 1 and teacher 2. Okay. See, two teachers are there. They were asked to judge. They are asked to rank 10 students. Fine. So the teachers, they were ranking all the 10 students or 20 students. We got the rank. We want to find out whether is there any correlation between the ranks given by first teacher and the ranks given by second teacher. If there is a positive correlation or negative correlation between the ranks given by these two teachers. Okay. Why we go for Spearman correlation? Because the teachers have not given marks, they have given ranks. So we go for Spearman correlation. Okay, I have selected the file. I selected two variables, teacher ranks given by teacher 1, ranks given by teacher 2. Then I say show results. You can see here the results have come. P-value is 0.04. Spearman R statistics 0.714. See, you can see here the answer is in negative form, minus. So it means that there is a negative correlation between the ranks given by one teacher and the other teacher. That means when the ranks given by one teacher increases, the rank given by other teacher decreases. So there is a negative correlation. We have to check whether we have to accept the null hypothesis or not. What is null hypothesis? There is no association, there is no correlation between the ranks given by the teacher 1 and the ranks given by teacher 2. That is my hypothesis. And I have to compare this p-value 0.04 with my standard value of 0.05. So I understand that the p-value what I got in my results is lesser than the standard value of 0.05. That means that the null hypothesis is rejected, the alternative is accepted. It means that there is a linear correlation between the ranks given by teacher 1 and teacher 2 for the students. Is it fine? So that is how we conduct Spearman correlation. So let me close this. Let me come to other things. Fine. Here I got a few more things. I got Mann-Whitney. I have t-test. Two things are there. Mann-Whitney, t-test. When are you supposed to conduct these two tests? It's very simple. See, when you have a data, you got two items. One is the independent variable, another is a dependent variable. Independent variable is a nominal data and dependent variable is a numeric data. Understand? Your independent variable is a nominal data, male and female, or nativity, educational qualification. These are nominal data. What is the dependent variable? Marks scored, amount earned, amount saved, numbers. So when you want to find out the difference between males and females with regard to a particular aspect, you can conduct t-test. So t-test should be conducted when you have your independent data in a nominal form and dependent variable in a numeric data. So you can go for t-test. Fine. So I have selected t-test independent. I clicked on configure test. Okay. Okay. So t-test will help you to find out is there any mean difference between one group and another group with regard to our chosen variable. Okay. For example, let me select the table. I select here t-test. It is a table called t-test. You can open and see the file if you want. It has got a few items like this. We have got driving time. We got errors. AM, PM, club name, ranking, candidate 1, candidate 2. So 4 items are there. This is a table I'm going to use for the next 5 minutes. Driving time. 1 stands for night time. 2 stands for daytime. Okay. These are errors. So we have collected data from drivers, those who are driving in the night time and those who are driving in the daytime. We ask them how many mistakes, how many errors they commit while driving. Those who are driving in the night time, those who are driving in the daytime. How many errors they commit. See, we collected the data. So I want to find out, my hypothesis is that there is no mean difference in the number of errors committed by night drivers and day drivers. Okay, I want to find out. Here, driving time is the nominal data. 1 stands for night time, 2 stands for daytime. And errors means numbers. I committed 10 mistakes, I committed 11 mistakes, I committed 4 mistakes. So this is in numeric data. So I can go for independent sample t-test. I just close the window. So what are the variables? What is the value? Average to be, it is errors. So only for errors, they'll find out the mean value. How it is be grouped? It should be grouped by, you say, group by, what is that? Driving time. What is driving time? Daytime, nighttime. You can have male, female. So that kind of one independent variable, which has got 2 levels, only 2 levels, either male, female, or daytime, nighttime, educated, not educated, 2 levels. So this independent variable is having 2 levels. This is nominal data. And this side, the value on which mean will be calculated is errors. That is a numeric data. Fine. So I've selected the variables. And let me say here, group A, group B. This is night time and this is daytime. So I selected both the groups. I click show results. And you can see the results over here. P values here, T statistics, degree of freedom. And here, one homogeneity of variance test is also available. And these are descriptive statistics for night drivers, number, mean, standard deviation, minimum, maximum. And daytime drivers, mean, standard deviation, those things are given. So let us analyze it one by one. You can see here, nighttime drivers, their mean mistake is 8.87. But daytime drivers, the mean error is only 5.75. So there's a difference. But we have to check whether this difference is statistically important, whether this difference is statistically significant. How to do that? Same rule, go up and check this p-value. The p-value is 0.001. It is less than 0.05 of our significant level. Since this p-value is less than 0.05, the null hypothesis is rejected and the alternative is accepted. That means there is a significant mean difference between night drivers and day drivers in respect of number of errors they commit. Is it fine? Fine. And here you can question, sir, what is this one homogeneity of variance is there? So that is another condition to be fulfilled when you want to conduct such kind of test. That means this test, O'Brien's test for homogeneity of variance, will help you to check whether the variance between these two groups are equal or not. We have two groups, night driving, day driving. Variance, whether the variation is same or different. If it is same, then you can go for this particular test. Okay. And here you can see night and daytime, you can see abnormal value, it is 0.3. This value should be more than 0.05. Then only you can understand that the data is normally distributed. Fine. See, what are the conditions for independent sample t-test? Very simple. Your independent variable should have only two levels, nominal data. Dependent variable should be in numbers. And thirdly, the variance between two groups should be equal. And fourthly, the data should be normally distributed. If all these conditions are fulfilled, then you conduct independent sample t-tests. Fine. You can ask the question, sir, if these conditions are not, maybe the variance is not equal or data is not normally distributed. In that case, you cannot conduct independent sample test. Instead, you can conduct Mann-Whitney U-test. Both are same. Both are same. But when conditions are fulfilled, independent sample t-test. When conditions are not fulfilled, you go for Mann-Whitney U-test. I think this is clear. Let me close this window. I'll go now Mann-Whitney. So I told you Mann-Whitney and the t-test both are same. When conditions are fulfilled, you go for t-test. When conditions are not fulfilled, go for Mann-Whitney. Let me select Mann-Whitney. I click configure test. The table has come here. Here, let me show my file. Open. So here my file is there. Two options are there. What are the options? Here it is a club name. This is a ranking. See, I have taken students belonging to two different groups to a cinema. After watching the movie, they have given the ranking. I told them, after watching the movie, you give rank. First rank, second rank, third rank, fourth rank, whatever rank you want to give this particular movie, give. So they have given ranks. So I don't have numbers, I have ranks. And club name is an independent variable, 1 and 2. 1 stands for Sylvia Club, 2 stands for Preeti Club. So two clubs are there. Ranking is not a numeric data, it is an ordinal data. So when you got this kind of data, you cannot go for independent sample t-test. Instead, you have to go for Mann-Whitney U-test. Fine. So let me close this window. Let us conduct Mann-Whitney U-test for two variables. What are the variables? One is this, okay, AM candidates, errors, PM, these are ranking, okay. And here I take club name. So group by, it is an independent variable, club name. This is a dependent variable, ranking. It has got two clubs. This is Sylvia Club and this is Preeti Club. Two clubs are there. Now I want to find out, my hypothesis is that there is no difference in the median score of Sylvia club members and Preeti club members with regard to ranking of that particular movie. So I want to find out this. Okay, I selected the variables. I click show results. You can see the results. Choose the table. Choose the independent variable. Choose the dependent variable. Choose the levels of independent variable, and then click show results. Your results are here. Okay, you can see here they give the median score, average rank, all those things and all. How to check whether hypothesis to be accepted or not based on this p-value. What is the p-value? 0.01169. Definitely it is less than 0.05. Since it is less than 0.05, automatically the null hypothesis is rejected and we accept the alternative hypothesis. So what is the conclusion? There is a median score difference between Preeti club members and the Sylvia club members with regard to the ranking of a movie. Fine. So this is how you conduct Mann-Whitney U-test. I think it's clear. I close it. Fine. And let me come to another test called paired sample t-test and Wilcoxon signed ranks. Here two tests are there. Paired test is used to find out, is there any significant difference between pre-condition and post-condition. So some students are there, you give them some special training. Before you give special training, how many marks they were getting? After getting special training, how many marks they are getting? Okay, some patients are there, you are giving a particular treatment. Before treatment, what was their BP level? After treatment, what was the BP level? So this kind of condition, no, pre-post, before, after, you can go for paired sample t-test. If both are numbers, go for t-tests. If both are not numbers, if they are ranking, if they are ordinals, instead of t-test, you can go for Wilcoxon signed ranks. Both are same, purpose is same, but when data is numeric, you go for t-test. If data is not numeric, you go for Wilcoxon signed ranks. I think it's clear. Let us do both. I select t-test pad. I click configure test, and let me see where is the file for that. I think it is available in the same file thing, t-test. Okay. Now I got two data. One is AM, another is PM. That means morning I conducted test for some 14 students, and afternoon I conducted test for same 14 children. I want to test whether is there any difference between morning test and afternoon test. Usually children will be very brisk and fresh in the morning, so they think properly, they have got a lot of imaginations, so they may score more marks. So I want to find out, is there any difference between morning score and afternoon score of a particular test? Okay, so both are numbers, morning score and afternoon score. So I am conducting paired samples t-test. Let me close this window and let me select the file. Then I'll select the variables. The variables AM and group B, PM. Marks scored in the morning and marks scored in the afternoon. Same children. I want to see whether is there any pre and post difference is there. Okay. So what I do after selecting this, click on show results. You can see the results. Okay. AM, PM. What is the mean value? In the morning when they have written examination, the mean mark scored by them is 6.5. But in the afternoon test, the mean score is 4.4. So there is a difference. But we have to check whether it is statistically different. How to find out? Same formula. Come to p-value. See, what is the result? 0.001. So definitely this is less than 0.05 of significant level. It means that the null hypothesis is rejected and the alternative is accepted. That means there is a difference between marks scored by the students in the morning and in the afternoon. So when you have such kind of situation, you can go for paired samples t-test. I think it's clear. Okay. Now, say just like paired sample t-test, we have Wilcoxon signed ranks. You click configure test. Okay. I select the same file and let me open the file and see. Here you can see candidate 1, candidate 2. So there are 2 candidates and we have 10 teachers. 10 teachers were sitting. These 2 candidates are going to each of the 10 teachers. The teachers were ranking the candidates out of 20. What is the rank you can give? First rank, second rank, third rank. So ranks are given. So same candidate is ranked by one teacher the same candidate is ranked by another teacher. So both are not numbers, they are ranks, they're ordinal scale. So I cannot conduct t-test, paired sample t-test. Instead, I am conducting Wilcoxon signed rank test. Okay, let me close this window. Okay, I think let me close this window. Let me come to the table. I select my table. And what is group A? This candidate 1. What is group B? Candidate 2. So candidate 1, candidate 2. I want to compare whether is there any difference. I click the show results. What is the hypothesis? There is no median difference between the ranks of one candidate and the other candidate by one teacher and other teacher. You can see here, candidate 1, the median is 14. Candidate 2, the median is 8.5. But I want to test whether this is statistically significant. Please come up and see the p-value. It is 0.02 and it is less than 0.05. It means that the null hypothesis is rejected and you are accepting the alternative hypothesis. That is, there is a median difference between candidate 1 and candidate 2, or between one teacher and other teacher. There is a significant difference. I think it's clear. Good. Let me close this. And I will take maybe five or maximum 5 to 10 minutes to complete this. Then we'll have our question answer sessions. Okay. Now let me come back to the two tests which are left over here. One is ANOVA, the other is Kruskal-Wallis. Okay. When to conduct ANOVA? See, one-way analysis of variance. ANOVA is to be conducted when you have two variables. One is an independent variable, the other is a dependent variable. Independent variable is a nominal data and dependent variable is having a numeric data. But when your independent variable is having more than two levels, for example, you have got nativity, urban, semi-urban, rural. 3 levels are there. Education qualification, UG, PG, MPhil. 3 levels are there. Designation, assistant professor, associate professor, professor. 3 levels are there. When your independent variable is having 3 levels, you cannot conduct t-test. Instead, you have to conduct ANOVA. Same rules are there. The dependent variable should be a numeric data. It should be normally distributed and you should have a similar variance. So all same rules, whatever you had for t-test, the same things are applicable to even ANOVA also. Okay. I clicked on ANOVA. I said configure test. Here table has come. So let me set my table. What is the table? It says one-way ANOVA. Okay, I selected the table and let me see this table. Okay, let me see the table. I open the table and see. Can see 2 data are there. One is hint type and minutes, relaxing technique and ranking. Okay, first one, hint type. See, we have given some puzzle test to some children, and for some children we have given first letter, so that with the help of first letter they can find out the answer. For some children we have given last letter, they will find out the answer. Some children we have not given any hint. So 3 groups are there. Those with the first letter as hint, those with the last letter as hint, those without any letter as hint. So 3 groups are there. So my independent variable has got 3 levels. What is my dependent variable? Number of minutes they have taken to solve the issue, solve the puzzles. Okay, minutes is in numbers. So my independent variable is having 3 levels. My dependent variable is in numbers. I can go for ANOVA. So let me close the file. Let me come back to my configure ANOVA test. I selected the table. Here, what is the average minutes? How many minutes they take? And this is how it is based on hints. Okay, I got 3 levels. First letter, last letter, no letter. You start from first letter and you go up to last letter. Okay, first, last, and no. 3 groups are there. So first group to last group. What is the hypothesis? There is no significant difference among these 3 groups of respondents in mean time they take to solve the puzzles. That is my hypothesis. Okay, so I have selected my dependent variable, my independent variable, levels of independent variables, and I say show results. So result has come. You can see here between scores and within scores. So between score means the difference between or among our 3 groups. Okay, it is around 886.6. It is good. Within score means the error which you cannot find out. There is an error level that we cannot find out. but our between level is more than our within level. So obviously we can say that some difference is there. And this is a mean, and this is a F value, and this P value. What is the P value? P value is 0.001. It means that it is less than the significant level of 0.05. So null hypothesis is rejected and alternative is accepted. What is the alternate hypothesis? There is a significant difference among three groups of respondents in the minutes they take to solve the puzzles. Fine. This is the p-value. With this, you can get the conclusion. Here you can get the mean value, the standard deviation, the normality, test of normality results, and the test of homogeneity of variance here. So I tell you once again, how to check the normality. The normality value should be more than 0.05. If it is so, it means that the data is normally distributed. And how to check whether there is a homogeneity of variance. This homogeneity of variance value, that is to be more than 0.05. If it is more than 0.05, it is understood that the variance in every group is almost same. We can conduct ANOVA. Is it fine? So if these conditions are fulfilled, you can go for ANOVA. If any one of these conditions fails, you cannot conduct one-way ANOVA. Instead, you can conduct Kruskal-Wallis test. Okay, let me close this window. Let me select Kruskal-Wallis. Okay, I click on configure test. I select my table. Okay, and let me open my table to see the variables. There are two variables: relaxing technique and ranking. Okay, we have given three kinds of relaxing technique. For some people, we have given some tablets. For some people, we have hypnotized. Some people, we taught them some exercise. So three groups of people are there. They had did this for 14 or 1 month time. Then we asked them, you rank how relaxed you are now. You give your rank. So they give a rank. So my independent variable is a nominal data. Three groups are there. And the dependent variable is not in numbers. It is in ranking. So I go for not the one-way ANOVA test. Instead, I go for Kruskal-Wallis test. Okay, I just close this window. And here, you select the variables. What is the variable? It's a ranking. And here, based on what? Based on relaxing technique. This is my independent variable. And this is my dependent variable. My independent variable has got three levels. Okay, exercise 2 pills. 3 levels are there. Okay, I click show results. And you can see the results here. Okay. You can see the median value for exercise. Hypnosis pill, you can see the exercise is more, 35 median value. Hypnosis 27 and the tablet 16. So there's a difference. But you have to prove it statistically. How to do that? Please check the p-value. It is 0.1.31. That means it is more than 0.05. Since it is more than 0.05, the null hypothesis is accepted. That means there is no significant difference in the ranking by three different groups with regard to their ranking of relaxation. Why? Because the p-value is more than 0.05. Good? Okay. So here, this ANOVA, Pearson correlation, this t-test, these are all parametric tests. Okay. And Wilcox and Sindrang, Mann-Whitney, Kruskal-Wallis, Spearman, Chi-square, they are all non-parametric tests. Okay, fine, clear. I think I am clear. So I have demonstrated all the tests, and I would like to take just 5 minutes of your time to tell you how to select a statistical test for your research data. See, please come to the left side of the screen. You can see select a statistical test. If you know already what is a statistical test you need exactly, then you select this, click the test, configure test, get the result. If you're not knowing, sir, I don't know what is a statistical test I should apply, then you can make use of second option, get help choosing below. If you give a click on the second option, you just tell the system will tell you what statistical test you need to apply. Is it clear? I think I'm clear. How to, for example, I say two groups. My independent value has got two levels. Two groups are there. Data is normal. They are independent. Then what is the test? So I didn't do anything. System says I should conduct t-test independent. Let me change here. Two groups are is not normal, I click not normal. So two groups of data, two levels, independent variable. But when data is not normal, what is the test? Man Whitney. I didn't do anything. System says you have to conduct only man Whitney. Okay. Now I have two groups. Okay. I have normal data. If I have paired sample, I have paired. If it is paired, what is the test? T-test pair. Two groups. The data is not normal. What is the test? Wilcoxon. So once you select the items here, which test you have to conduct is displayed in this particular statistical test box. System suggests you. Okay, for example, I got three groups. If I have three groups, if my data is normal, what is the test? ANOVA. I got three groups, data is not normal, what is the test? Kruskal-Wallis. Okay, system suggests you. Just come below, test of relationship, only names, only nominal data, go for I-square. If you're having the numbers, ordinal data, you can go for numbers, go for Pearson. The data is normal, go for Pearson. Data is not normal, go for Spearman correlation. So this is one beauty of this SOFA statistics. If you tell the system whether you're having 2 levels or 3 levels, if you tell the system whether the data is normal or not, the system will automatically tell you what is the statistical test you need to apply for this particular research data. Fine. I think it's clear with my presentation. And let me go back to my last slide. Here you can see here. I'm sorry. Let me go to last slide. Yes. So SOFA is a very, very easy to use software, and you can conduct all kinds of preliminary statistical tools